So it's great to be back at NAMPO again, and certainly the vibe and the atmosphere here is really positive, and it's been good to see the agricultural space in such a good place. And it's always also good to have almost the entire agri sector centered at one place to be able to interact with them. And obviously this discussion is very important. Tech is the way forward in the agri space, and if we're going to improve yields and quality of production, it is going to come through tech, and that means it's got to be driven by a skills base that can meet those demands. And certainly I think NAMPO Tech's the idea around NAMPO Tech is certainly one to be welcomed. It's obviously always good to be able to interact with the stakeholders here and ensure that as the department we have an ear to the ground, listening to what people what's on their minds, what's issues that are bothering them in the agri space, and obviously then as a department to try and adapt government policy to meet those. Obviously the agri space is in a bit of a holding pattern now with the Trump tariff shock. It's not unique to South Africa. The whole world's been taken by surprise on these tariffs. We've had the pause now for 90 days, and government has not been sitting on its laurels. Minister Tau, myself, Minister Lamola, and Minister Nzimande and Minister Nchabeni have been hard at work in a process led by Minister Tau to put together a package deal, which we'll be able to go to the United States with, much like Canada's done, Great Britain's done, to negotiate and to ensure that we don't end up with a punitive 30% tariff, which will essentially outprice our agricultural products in the United States of America and make us completely uncompetitive. So the goal is to go there and put a deal on the table in Washington, and a mutually acceptable deal to both sides, and to make sure that we can continue to have a good, harmonious, fair trade opportunity into the United States market. Although we're only exposed on the agri side of around 7% of our exports to the United States, it's very heavily concentrated in citrus, wine, table grapes and nuts. And so it's very important that we keep that important market access open. And I also think it's important for American consumers. They get access to world-class, excellent quality agricultural products at a very good price because of the exchange rate. And I think American consumers would also be the losers if in fact we ended up being priced out of the market.
I'm just going to take this opportunity as well just to say last year this time we were getting ready to go to the polls for the elections, and it's been around a year. Government of National Unity, we've seen reinvigorated interest in the agri sector. Do you think this is the outcome of the efforts that you've been putting into your portfolio?
No, well, I think it's a mixture of things. I think there's a great sentiment because people feel that things are starting to move in the right direction. There's been a change in government. People have seen that democratic processes have led to a change. I think there's a great deal of interest because of the Government of National Unity. But also it's really great, I think, to now, from the 1st of April, have a standalone Department of Agriculture that can focus on agriculture, food production, food security, and growing the space. I think that over the course of the last decade, a lot of the oxygen has been sucked out of the room by the land reform and rural development side of the portfolio, which means that agriculture has not necessarily got the attention that it deserved. Now it's a standalone department. Our sole focus is on the goals set out in our annual performance plan and in our strategic plan of how we grow the sector, working with partnerships with the sector to ensure that we collaborate. So I think it's a mixture of all of these things that has led to this bounce, and I'm very proud of the fact that in the last quarter it's agriculture that led the way. While other sectors declined, like mining, and went backwards, agriculture went forward, and I think there's a lot of buoyancy in the sector.
Minister, thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you.
Enjoy the rest of NAMPO.
Thank you.
Minister,